For the longest time, I thought I was a person that had low to no empathy. I really believed that. And it wasn't until recently when I watched a video on Instagram, and I'm going to preface this with the video was wrong, but for some reason, the fact that her video was wrong somehow made it clear to me about like what the situation actually is. So the video said that people that have gone through a lot in life, that have experienced a lot of hardship but overcame it, they tend to have less empathy. They tend to have less empathy for others because they themselves have gone through the hardship, they've overcome it, they have dealt with the challenges that life have thrown them. And so they have less empathy for others that are also going through those same hardships. And for some reason, when she phrased it that way, for some reason, when she phrased it that way, I suddenly understood what she meant. She didn't mean empathy. She meant sympathy. The last time he interrupted a video, he was actually quite popular, so I'm going to include him now. Anyways, what that woman meant was that people that have gone through a lot of hardships, it's not that they have less empathy for others, because by definition, empathy means you can put yourself in the other person's shoes. You can understand the kinds of feelings that they are going through. And even with that, I have thoughts about it, which I'll talk about later. But you've gone through a similar situation, so you can kind of have an idea of what they're going through. So it's not that people have less empathy, it's that they have less sympathy. And I had only made that realization maybe a day or two prior to seeing this video. So the timing of this video was interesting to me, but social media, technology, it probably heard me talking to my husband and then decided to show me that video. Once I made that realization of it's not that I have less empathy for others, it's that I have less sympathy for others. That made so much more sense. And I felt, it's silly to say this, but I kind of felt like a better person because there was a time in my life, it was a few years ago, back when I was living in Texas. I was surrounded by a handful of people that constantly spouted stuff on Facebook, on their Facebook statuses. And to this day, one of them still does. But they constantly write stuff about how they're such an empathetic person, how they are an empath, how they are a person who has how they're a person with how they're a person with so much empathy for others. And when I thought that, oh my God, I don't have empathy, I have low empathy, I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt like I wasn't. Are you good now? I felt like I felt like something was wrong with me. I really did. And laughing just feels so weird because I'm trying to have a serious conversation with you guys. And, this goofball over here, it's like he's got perfect timing because he was nowhere near me. He had no interest in being over here because he had just taken a nap. And now here he is, he has to be involved. So, yeah, I really felt like something was wrong with me because I thought that I couldn't empathize with people. So when I realized it's not empathy that I'm lacking, it's sympathy that I'm lacking. One, I felt better as a person because I was like, there isn't anything wrong with me. And I used to tell my husband all the time that I was like, oh, I don't have any empathy or I have very low empathy because if I can get through this same situation, if I can get through this same circumstances, why can't they? And the video on Instagram that I saw was basically saying that the woman was saying people who have gone through those same circumstances, those same hardships, they tend to have less empathy for others. She was saying that they have less sympathy for others because, like me, the line of thinking is I went through that and I overcame it. I did the work. I picked myself back up. I figured out what actionable steps I needed to do and I did it. I overcame it. So why can't they do the same? That is sympathy. And I don't want to say I have no sympathy for those who are going through hard things in life. It's just a matter of how are you approaching the situation? Because if you're a person and you're telling me about this hardship you're going through, about this difficulty you're going through, you're just acknowledging the fact that it's a difficult situation, but you're going to do something about it. You're going to figure it out. You're going to figure out how to pick yourself up and how to get through it. I can have a lot of sympathy for you because, yes, it is a difficult situation. Yes, it is hard. Yes, it's unfair, even, but you're still helping yourself. You are still doing something about the situation because you don't want to be just a victim in life, because you want to be in a better place in your life. For those who just want to complain about whatever situation it is, for those who want to just say, woe is me, my life is so hard, it's not fair, why does it always happen to me? Those are the people I have no sympathy for, because you are choosing to not help yourself. You are choosing to not ask for help. You are choosing to not take help. You are choosing to just feel sorry for yourself. So there are varying levels to my sympathy and who I will sympathize with. But like I said, for the longest time, for literally years, I thought I just didn't have empathy. And this topic came to mind because lately I feel like the words empathy and sympathy have been thrown around a lot. And I'm not trying to get political, but with the recent events of Charlie Kirk, there has been clips floating around where, of course, people are taking it out of context. But I have seen the full clip. I've seen the real thing. I know the context, and I agree with him, where he says that empathy has just become blown out of proportion. And I even agree with the part where he says you truly can't empathize with someone, because even if you've been in the same situation, can you honestly truly say you understand absolutely every feeling that person is going through, experiencing, thinking? Probably not, because, like he said, we're all different people. You can't know absolutely everything that's going on in someone else's mind, every emotion that they're feeling. So, like I mentioned earlier, I think that people can be very empathetic, but I don't believe that there's anyone that is, I don't know, 100% empathetic. Like those people that are constantly saying, "Oh, I'm the most empathetic person. I'm an empath." No. Like, in the context that they're trying to say it, that's what I don't agree with. Can you understand some of the feelings and thought process that a person's going through? Sure, especially if you've been in the same situation. There's always nuances to everyone's circumstance that don't apply to you. So I would argue it's actually impossible to completely empathize with any person in any situation. And again, Charlie Kirk brought up in his speech for that specific instance, he brought up that he didn't like the word empathy, but he preferred using the word sympathy. And I had seen that clip long, long, long time ago whenever it first came out, but it's been circulating around again, of course, taken out of context. But um, I remembered that clip and I looked it up, and it just kind of reaffirmed my own realization where I was like, it's not that I lack empathy, it's that I lack sympathy. So, kind of circling back to the first Instagram clip that I was talking about, it's people that have gone through a lot do have, I feel like, a high level of empathy for others and their situation, but they're probably going to have less sympathy for others because they know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel for your situation. I just figured this was an interesting topic I could talk about, considering my own recent revelations on the words and their meanings and the clips that are floating around on social media. I do think that the word empathy is way overused and not used correctly, which led to me not understanding the actual proper use of the word and how to apply the word, which seems so stupid, but I feel like that just shows how powerful social media can be in a good and bad way. And like it's been said, empathy has basically become a buzzword and it's just thrown around, used willy nilly, and is not even used correctly. But then again, I don't think any buzzword is actually used correctly, hence why it's considered a buzzword. But if this video can help clear it up to anybody, and if it brings some sort of clarity to anyone, even a little bit, then this was a good video to make.